So in this section, we're going to be talking about paying for school and paying for college, and I had found I had come across this video on I found David. I came across his video on YouTube, and it was just I listened to the whole. It's a 10-minute video. I'm going to shorten it down and kind of edit it down. But if you want to see the whole thing, you can go to David's channel. He has a lot of other videos, but I just thought this one was just crazy, talking about someone who really seems like a good soul, wanted to go into social work, and is just, in a mountain of debt. His parents wanted to help him. His dad's a pastor, his mom's a nurse. Obviously came from a background where he likes helping people, and wants to go into social work, and ends up leaving college with $105,000 in debt to Citibank, and you'll hear a part of that in the video clip that I'm going to show. And this is really one of the reasons why we work on this site, and why I work so hard to try to help students like this. I wish I could have found David before he went to school, but there's just no information. People just know I got to go to school, and I guess I just take out loans, and that's what I do. And he's still digging out of this debt. I think this video was done a couple of years ago, and I know that he did a follow-up video a year later. It says I'm still $93,000 in debt, and he's just dealing with debt collection and all this right out of college. And so watch a little bit of this, and then hopefully this will grab you emotionally and say, okay, I got to find a better way to pay for school than this. And if your situation did change, if a parent lost, if your parents are helping you pay for college, and they lost a job or something like that, are you going to drop out, or is there other ways that you can do, other things that you can do to stay in college? And we have more videos here on scholarships and just being smarter with taking out loans and everything. But here's David.
This video is my candid and frank talk about my current financial situation. So, I graduated from New York University with a bachelor's in social work. The way I was able to obtain this bachelor's degree was through college loans. The first year of my college I was able to afford that because through the help of my parents. My parents at the time moved to a different house, and while they bought a new house and moved there, they sold their old house. So the money they got from their old house, the good portion of that, about $30,000, they were able to use that money to be able to pay for my first year of college. And I really said they didn't need to do that, but they helped me. So that first year was paid off like that. The next 3 years of college, of course, most of it I paid it through loans. I guess I wasn't that smart enough to think ahead, but I got loans through Citibank, and all are private loans. So the second year that I got the loan is about $30,000. The third year is $30,000, and the last year is about $36,000. And with interest accrued, my total amount that I owe to Citibank is about $105,000. So that's it's a huge amount of money to owe some organization, to owe a bank that amount of money. Amount of money that I could buy a house with. If I go to where my parents are and they're in Tennessee, I could find a house to live in with $100,000. So I pretty much bought a house with, but instead of buying a house, I bought an education. And it's at the time, like, I majored in social work, so I was thinking, yeah, I won't be paid this much. Social work is not a very high-paying profession, especially the field that I want to go into, which is kind of related to community organizing, fighting poverty, helping homeless people, or helping the formerly incarcerated. So the people who were in prison but recently got out, helping them readjust to society. That's the stuff that I want to do. That's the stuff I have passion for. Of course, it's not the stuff that pays that much, right? But my idea is that social work is such an integral part, such an important work. Social work is always needed in society. So I thought jobs will be needed. Getting a job as a social work major would be incredibly, I guess, easier than, because it's always needed. It's high. This job is high in demand. That was my mentality when I went to get this degree. Citibank gives me about 6 months grace period, right? That's the time I should spend to find a job to be able to afford the rent, the loan payments that I need to make. 6 months, pretty much. But I ended up spending about 4 months helping my parents out. So already that set me back a lot. When I came back to New York in my apartment, the problem was it was a really bad time for job searching. It's like the holiday season, so not a lot of places are hiring, and the only opportunity I got was as a canvasser for a Green Roots campaign, and I didn't make the staff. So they have this fundraising or canvassing is very tough in a way because you have to meet a quota. You have to meet a fundraising quota, and I didn't meet the quota to make the team. Although I did raise a good amount of money, I wasn't able to meet the requirement to make the staff. So I didn't make the staff, but I did earn about $300 through that experience. So that's the state I'm in. I go back to Tennessee for a month just just to request their help, right? So I go there, I help my parents out, and I'm able to get a lot of money through the church members there. Uh, it's very generous and kind. So I came back with job search in mind, and that's when I came back is when my grace period was kind of over. So I'm hit with the loan payment. I have to make $868 a month to Citibank. And of course, I can't make it. I don't have a job. My mom doesn't have a job. My dad makes barely $2,000 on his salary as a pastor. So that's the situation I've been in, and it's been hard finding a job until I eventually found a job, and I'm currently employed as a tutor in a nonprofit company called Champion Learning Center. So I'm currently working as a tutor, but this company is closing for the summer, actually. So it closes in the summer and it starts up again in September. So I'm in the process of being unemployed, about to be unemployed again, and I have to be job searching again. In the meanwhile, my loan situation is as follows. So I have to make $868 a month to Citibank, but currently my delinquent amount, which is the money I haven't been able to pay back, and it's been accruing, is $1,600. The balance is at about $1,600, and it's about 60 days late. So for 60 days, I haven't been able to pay this amount that I'm supposed to be paying them, and so I'm getting late fees, and my credit score is probably getting, uh, you know, totally killed. And my co-signers are my parents, and they're not in the financial situation to be able to help me either. So this is the financial rut I'm in. I just wanted to share that with you. It's a pretty desperate situation. So that's my situation, and I get collection calls from Citibank like very frequently. Sometimes like 3 times a day, sometimes 4 times a day. They're very nice people. When I do answer the phone, I talk to them, I explain my situation. They're very understanding. They're very kind and considerate, and it's just really great talking with them. But it's at the time it's so guilt ridden because having to owe someone this much money and not being able to pay them back makes me feel like a thief. But there's nothing I can do right now. Right now I'm to pay my living expenses is such a higher priority than um, paying loan payments, and I would love to, but it's kind of hard. So that's my situation that I wanted to share.
So that's David, and that his video just breaks my heart. Can you imagine you get out of college, you're 21, 22 years old, you're having collection calls 3 or 4 times a day, every day, which just grates on your nerves. You're trying to live in New York, your family's in Tennessee, he's ruining his credit score. And by the way, if you noticed in there, he said his parents co-signed for these loans, so he's hurting their credit score too, as co-signers on these loans. And and he's $1,600 behind, 60 days late. And having to deal with all of that, and just graduating and then trying to find a job and moving and all that kind of stuff. And so the point of me showing you this video is make sure. By the way, the average, I looked up, the average social worker's salary. The average salary is around $52,000 currently, which means that if he paid 1/5 of his entire salary for the year to that loan, it's going to take him over 10 years to just pay off that loan. And now with all the back stuff that he's going to have, it's probably going to take him anywhere between 14 to 15 years to pay off that entire loan that he's paying, if he was making what average social workers make. So what I would do is I would look, if you're going to school for a particular reason and you know you're going to have to take out a lot of loans, you might want to go onto Google, go and research the profession that you're going into, and say, hey, this is what the average makes, or here's what I'm looking to go into this field. You can find out what they make in that field, and figure out if it's financially viable for you to go to school at that time. Like you heard David was, working canvassing and stuff. Maybe it is smarter. And I can't tell you what to do, but maybe it is smarter for you to take a year or two after high school and work and put money away, so that way you can go to school without taking out all these loans, if that's something that you might want to do. And so understand, you're not a loser, if you don't go straight to college, and if you're going to pay for school and you're going to put the money aside, you're going to work what you need to work and put money away for what you want to do and what you want to build and where you want to go. But again, the point is, don't put yourself in a huge financial hole and then realize later on that just wasn't worth it, especially if you're going to school for something that where you're going to take 10 to 15 years to pay off the debt with the job that you're trying to get. And who knows, you might even change. I mean, a lot of people change their majors, change their ideas as they're in school, and you might not be in the same situation that David's in, but all I'm saying is, don't be in the same situation that David's in. And as far as that goes, and be smart, put together a financial plan, and parents, talk to your kids and explain to them, and vice versa. I know that there's pressure on parents, like you have to be able to pay for your kid to go to college, and it's a responsibility. And some people's, they want to say they do it, but all this debt is really, is it really worth the money and the kind of money you're spending? David talks about buying a house. He's spending on a house, and he's doing door-to-door selling, just to make ends meet. So yeah, this video is really important, and watch the rest, and really put together a financial plan as far as going into your school.